we are. Oh! Holy moly, it's begun. Wow. Come see the fish. You see, these are salmon. And depending on the species of salmon, when they leave their freshwater stream where they were born, they go out to sea for, 2-5 years, depending on the species. And then they come back and they actually smell their way back to the stream where they were born. So these are already the best of the best. They've already made it from being an egg, already from freshwater, out, and they've managed to get good foods and avoid predation. And now they're coming back to the streams where they were born by smelling their way here.
It was amazing to me how all that salmon could come upstream, and I must say I felt a little guilty when I looked at it. I like salmon so much, it just tastes so good. I felt really guilty.
Let's say you're a salmon, and I don't know what the magic thing that happens is when suddenly you're compelled to go home. Now you're fighting a current because you're coming up against the stream, and now you're jumping above the falls, so this little riffles or falls here. As you're leaving that salt water and you're coming back to fresh, everything changes. You stop eating because the foods you're used to are out there. And now you're getting ready to lay eggs. Down here in the water, but in a shallow part, they're going to dig a little spot and they're going to lay the eggs. The male fish will come by and they'll put down what's called milt to help make the new eggs and fish happen. So you have those two things going on, and then the whole cycle is going to start again. But that mom and dad, the ones that came in, they're done now. This is it. They will pass away. They will die because they've done their work. They've been out to sea, they've brought forth some new little ones, and their time is done. And now there is this bountiful amount of protein. They're lying in the streams with their last breath. They are now going to give life to eagles, to wolves, to coyotes, to bears. The bears take the fish up into the trees and there they dine. So the leftover bits of nutrients are feeding and at the base of these trees, and they find those same ocean nutrients all the way at the top of trees. So that's why we have this saying, it takes a fish to make a forest. Nutrients from the ocean at the top of trees.
Well, welcome aboard, everyone. Welcome to Pavlov Harbor, this little place on Chichagof Island, yet another beautiful spot on Chichagof. So just around the corner here is a stream that leads up to a lake and has a beautiful little waterfall, and we're going to go over there and see if maybe a couple of these coastal brown bears might be in town.
Oh my gosh.
So these are coastal brown bears. These are the same species as grizzly bears, the same species as European brown bears, but when they're fully grown, they're a couple of 100 pounds larger than their cousins, the grizzlies. You can see some salmon jumping up here. There's been a run of pink going on since probably mid-July. There's some other species that are able to spawn here as well. Oh, just got a fish, just got a fish. %70 of these coastal brown bears' nutrient is from salmon. The rest of the time they're just scrounging around. Okay, here's your shots, guys. Well, that's amazing. This is the best. This is the best bear viewing one could ever hope to get. I can't believe it's our first day. It's a gorgeous bear.
Beautiful. creek at the moment, and my heart is still beating a little bit faster than usual because we've been watching bears. We came in here specifically because we know it's a good place for wildlife right now, especially because the salmon are coming in. And sure enough, just around the corner, we found 2 bears in the stream, and they were fishing. In the background was all of the abundant rainforest that grows around a salmon stream like this. So trees along the banks of the stream here at Pavlov can be 200 feet in height. They're fed by these nutrients. The same salmon that the bear are feasting on are bringing really the bounty of the ocean back to the land. So it's a great time of year to be here when the salmon are coming in and everything is feasting around these streams.
This morning we are in Pavlov Harbor in Chichagov Island, and this is a wonderful place where we already have the chance to admire a beautiful brown bear. Possibly a female, a middle-aged female that spent more than an hour here in front of us capturing fish and eating some salmon that are already washing down the current.
Having a bear come within 5 minutes of our arrival, what more could you ask for? It was totally awesome. I loved it.
Beautiful opportunity, and this is really a privilege to have the chance to admire this truly wild creature in her element.
We're going to go on a relatively short walk, really, here. There might be a little scrambling over a few rocks, but it's a relatively simple, short walk. Our goal is to get up to the falls, which are more of a long cascade. There are salmon in the river right now, and it is a place where brown bears come to feed on the salmon as they move up the falls. We're anticipating we will see some bears. We certainly can't guarantee it, but there's a very good chance of that. They're eating right now. This is pretty important for them, and we'd like to not scare them off of their feeding behavior. And, of course, we would like to have them stick around so we can get to view them.
Okay, the bear's got a fish. The bear's got a fish now.
Right up there, there's some salmon. See all the salmon, those little rooster tails coming up? Those are all salmon that are swimming up. Then they're going to have to go up that waterfall to get back up there where they're going to spawn. And so what the bear's doing is he's watching for the splashes, just like we are. And when he sees the splashes, that's when you see him go chasing after him, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, eggs. Yummy, the best part.
We've just had the most fantastic walk in Pavlov Harbor. And we got it really, really close. And we had our wonderful leaders with us, so we were never afraid for a second. It was the best.
Here we are in Pavlov Harbor, and we've had amazing viewings of coastal brown bears feeding on the base of the waterfall. It was incredible at first because it's a female with 2 older cubs. They're running around in the meadow, chasing each other, going after fish. And then we've been watching as they've been feeding all afternoon right here on the waterfall, sometimes catching a salmon, sometimes not, sitting at the edge of the fish ladder. Pretty spectacular. And this is why you love to come to Southeast Alaska.
Yes, I'm Jane Larman from Keene, New Hampshire, and we just had an hour at least watching a mother bear and her 2 cubs wading and catching fish, and climbing up beside the fish ladders and playing in the water. We've been very close, I would say, maybe a football field away from them, and it's just been fantastic. This is a fabulous first day.
This morning we went across in the rubber boats for a walk right up a salmon stream.
These areas are what give Southeast Alaska the nutrients and the life. This forest is so rich because of the salmon. The salmon go into the ocean for 1, 2, 3, sometimes depending on the species, up to 7 years, gathering nutrients in the ocean, and then when they come back to spawn in the streams and lakes, they are eaten by a lot of animals, including bears, the bald eagles, the ravens. A lot of animals disperse the nutrients the salmon bring back into the forest.
And then on our way back down again, when the groups had actually gathered together, there was a bear. And the radios were going backwards and forwards, and the kayaks were converging on the spot. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
And I've seen that here actually down to like 40 feet.
Well, today we had an absolutely amazing opportunity. We had an amazing stroll up through the forest, our first hike through the temperate rainforest of Southeast Alaska. Got a neat view of a beautiful lake with alpine peaks up above. Turned around and came on back down, and what did we have? A brown bear fishing for salmon right in front of us. Kayakers got to paddle up the stream with salmon all around, salmon breaching out of the water practically onto the decks of their boats as we stood by and watched bears having their dinner.
Where are we? Pavlov's Lake. Oh, there goes the bear now catching a fish. I don't think he got one. It's got a fish. It's got a fish. Okay, this is great. It's one of the things we came here to see. He's got a fish. He's walking out of the river now. The fish is in his mouth. He stuck his head in, and he got it in his mouth. He didn't use his paws. Very interesting.
This is the plum time of year. This is the time of year when the salmon return to their streams and the bears are going out to pack on the pounds. This is the time of year when they are targeting the fattiest parts of the fish. We're talking about the yummy parts, the brains, the skin, the eggs. These are the things the bears are trying to devour the most, because those are going to help them boost up their energy levels, their fat levels, and manage to survive through the long winter. When we come to places like Southeast Alaska, we're coming to a true wilderness, a place which is wild and free, where we can see huge animals in their habitat. It happened all right in front of us today. And for me, that's the spirit of Alaska, being able to watch this ecosystem work right in front of our eyes.
So we're looking at a group of pink salmon, or humpies, and they're called humpies because of that big dorsal hump that develops as they run upstreams to spawn. And they're coming back to their natal stream where they were originally spawned to lay their eggs and contribute their genetic material for the next generation and then die. Seemingly a sad process, but much in the same way that these salmon rely on the forests to keep the waters cool and rich with invertebrates for them to feed on, these forests rely on the salmon, because the salmon are bringing a tremendous amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and nutrients from the ocean up into the upper reaches of these streams. Streamside vegetation can have as much 50 to 70% of their nitrogen coming from marine origin and will grow 3 times faster than vegetation in the interior. So a western hemlock that might take 300 years to get to a 50-centimeter diameter can take 80 or 90 if it's growing beside a salmon stream like this.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The mountains, all of the lush trees, the eagles flying everywhere. It's great.
There's so few places that have intact wilderness. We are off on this fabulous adventure together. We've got like 3 hours to play in a truly wild place. Our destination is kind of the salmon stream off that way. Fresh digging here by a brown bear. Looks like it's been eating something in the carrot family.
It's amazing.
A stick would be helpful. Whoops. This island, Baranof Island, is one of these 3 islands with the greatest density of brown bears in the world.
And we decided to hike on it because
it makes us feel so close to nature. Oh, that is gorgeous. Come and take a picture of this. Right above us is chicken of the woods, the most delectable mushroom in the forest. You just break off the soft pieces and maybe mix it with scrambled eggs. She's a gigantic brown bear. She's a big, healthy, beautiful adult brown bear. She's sniffing. She's crossing the stream. What a spectacular way to spend a day in Southeast Alaska.
Hi, I'm Paula. This is my first trip to Alaska. I'm on the Sea Lion. And we were just coming back in the Kodiak, and the captain called in and said there was a bear on shore, and sure enough we sat there and it was amazing. This bear came out and actually almost went into the water, but it just hugged the shoreline and all of us were just amazed. It was a wonderful moment. It was great. We had hiked in the woods, and somebody on the staff here went actually into the stream and went snorkeling to look at the salmon. It's been quite a day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Lake Eva Trail. We're here to see the salmon, and they're here, which is great. Gonna gear up in my dry suit. You'll see me, I'm gonna start in upstream a little bit and try to herd some salmon around this way. Maybe you can see them come right up here.